Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. The first question for you guys, how did you get to where you are in your career? And I guess it's pretty much looking at what your journey has been since the start. I'll start with you, Sam.
Well, I'll probably say my journey to working in a financial organization is probably unusual, because I did not necessarily choose this path straight away. So I originally had a role in hospitality management. So it was just, I suppose, a realization that hospitality, which unfortunately COVID has really highlighted, is one of those industries that can be quite up and down at times. And I remember having a really clear conversation with myself about where do I feel my career would be best served, that would give a sense of, I suppose, stability. And I made the decision that I will try and work for a financial organization.
Hannah, how about you? Thanks for sharing that, Sam.
So for me, I have been with my organisation for 14 years, and I started when I was 17. So they stole me in my teens. And similar to Sam, I started in the branch network. I didn't go to uni I didn't go to college or uni. I went straight from school leaver into banking. And so after a period of time, I realized that actually I probably would need to go to university if I wanted to progress. And at the time, the organization I worked for was doing a degree program. So I was accepted onto that program via merit based on my experience with the company. And so when I graduated from uni, I was offered a branch manager's position. And so I moved into an area manager role, which I was looking after 16 business managers across East London. And then again, just continuing on that career pathway, I realized actually I wanted to do something a bit more specialized around colleague. So moved into another colleague role. And then I went on maternity leave in 2019. And then on maternity leave, I then applied for my current position, which was a promotion, and was promoted on maternity leave into the diversity and inclusion VP role that I am in today. And in terms of Rarity London, 3 years ago, I just decided that actually people were coming to me, asking me for career advice, asking me for interview support, asking me to support them with some challenges that they're facing as work, especially within our Black professionals. And so I started Rarity London, which is a career development service that I offer that offers coaching and support to young professionals, female professionals.
Quite an interesting journey, just listening to both of you. And I think for you, Hannah, it's quite peculiar to actually hear that a woman has been promoted whilst on maternity leave. And I think that's really, really good to hear. And I think that's a brownie point for your organization. Thank you very much, Hannah. Sam, I've got a very direct question for you, and I'd like to believe Hannah's done the same thing. Would you say that your involvement with lots of, I suppose I'll call it, side of the desk activities, has perhaps helped you forging your career into the direction it is currently at?
Oh, 100%, because that reference to my younger self, where my younger self would have said, work hard, people will notice, and you'll get on. I would say, I would beat that straight out of her. Work hard, don't get me wrong, but don't be relying on anybody noticing. Instead, put your head up above the parapet. I know it'll be really hard, don't get me wrong, but be brave, be authentic. Because I know the advancements in my career has not been because of my day job. It has been because I have actively sought to engage in the kind of diversity and inclusion space with the additional activities I do in that space, because it gives you more connections. Remember, I mentioned network earlier, and your network is fundamental. And, you know, again, to that young girl, create a massive network in the organization you're working in, and do not be shy in asking for stuff. I was very shy, which is probably why it took too long to move along. But that 18-year-old, don't be shy. If there's something you want and you need, you got to ask. Nobody's going to read your mind, and just know that that's where you want to go. So yes, and also get involved in other activities that shows the breadth of your intent. Not everybody that works for you is having the same experience on an equal footing.
Hallelujah.
Exactly. You have a responsibility
That's
to
right.
every single one of us, not just to the majority.
Mm.
Make it an environment where I can walk in and be myself and talk authentically about my life without having to hide behind this facade of I am mega professional and I don't discuss anything beyond what professional conversations we're having.
Mm.
I want to bring my true self to work. I want to work really hard for you, but goodness sake, make it a bit easier than you've done in the past.
I like that. I like that. And I think whilst you both were talking, I like how, Anna, you went into what the organization can do and what you can do. And I think yourself, Samantha, you've done the same thing. Now, what is coming to mind is we are mothers. As mothers, what are we doing to ensure that we're raising queens, we're raising kings as well, to be able to position themselves right? How would you encourage a mother or someone who's just watching and not really sure how to navigate these things?
So I think, like I said, I'm from a Nigerian background. My parents would have wanted me to go to college or university, but I think it's important to understand, or for me, it was important to understand what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to go into work. I knew that I wanted to work in banking, even at quite a young age. I had worked for one bank before at 16, so I knew that that's my path. But I suppose my advice is that in today's day and age, experience counts for a lot. And there is no one right path. I always see them memes that said, if you buy a house at 40, it's still an achievement. If you have your first child at 35, that is still an achievement. Absolutely. So if you buy a house by yourself, that's still an achievement. So what I'm trying to say is that every path is different. And so it's about, as a parent, going along the journey with your child, and I can talk for myself. My son at the moment, he's really into graphics and logos design. And so he's built a website and we've published it, and he's 12. And, he really wants to do that. And so my job as a parent is to support and guide and advise, rather than say, oh no, you're too young to have a website. Sorry, that's for your 25-year-old self. I manage it, I support it, but give them room, because especially millennials, Gen Z, and whatever letter is coming after that, they're different. And so we as parents and as older parents, we have to be able to adapt.
All I would say to mums and dads out there, raise your children with consciousness. Let them know what the real world is about.